I'm going to ask now our next presenter, Tim Lefroy, to come up and talk to us about contributing back and obligations. Tim was a scholar to IA a couple of years ago. He went on the summer program. Tim has since come back and he's doing a variety of other things. I'm not going to give you his full background, but he's doing a lot of interesting things, and I'd like him now to give a brief motivational talk or suggestions about what you should do and how you should contribute back, because that is a critical part of the program. Over to you, Tim.
Cool. Well, on that point, I will change the focus of my speech.
Oh, we'll just talk about what you've... Okay, go with that.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll add in some obligations and contributions at the very end, but couple of quick things I wanted to talk on. I've only got about 10 minutes, so I'm going to try and be quite succinct. Is, I guess, the importance of ideas, what I got out of the IEA program. I'm going to try and give you a bit of advice, and then also I was going to talk a bit about leadership at the end, but there's a lot of that on YouTube, and there's a lovely lady by the name of Holly Ransom who talks a lot about that, so you can watch her clips. But I'll talk a bit about contributions instead. So if you look at the importance of ideas, to be honest, like a lot of you are probably sitting here like, what the bloody hell is a think tank? Like, I've got absolutely no idea. And it's really hard, I think, at university when you're learning a lot of textbook stuff to understand the role of think tanks in public policy making. But the first bit of advice I'd give you is go and research the role of your think tank, when it was established, what it has done over the past couple of decades, and particularly the issues or the topics that they have been big on. So for me, when I was at the IEA, they were quite persuasive and influential through the Thatcher years, and they've recently taken the focus on the EU and an exit strategy for the UK. So if you're on top of those topics, then it's particularly important. But going and having a look at other Australian think tanks, such as Centre for Independent Studies, the IPA, the Lowry Institute, for example, will give you an insight into how that forms policy debates in Australia, because contrary to popular belief, not all policies are drawn on handkerchiefs within Parliament 24 hours before they're implemented. What I got out of the IEA program, I think one of the biggest things was being able to engage and talk to the students. And I've only been around for 15 minutes for the first part of the session, but two really important points that Alex touched on, and also Andrew as well, is sticking away from labels and labelling other people. But this is particularly important for yourself as well, because you might be going to a conservative think tank or a libertarian think tank or a free market one, and to be honest, like, it doesn't really matter. And I hear people a lot say, oh, I'm a libertarian, or I'm a conservative, or I'm a free marketer. Like, I just think like, it doesn't really matter. And being in those boxes and labelling yourself really limits your approach to issues. So just judge each issue on its merits. You don't have to give yourself a label and give yourself a framework within which to consider everything. I think, I speak on behalf of Ron and Andrew, but all Mannkal wants you to do is to go out and to show an interest in these issues, to read up, to become more informed. I mean, they're going to push you in a certain direction. They're not going to ram certain stuff down your throat. So at the end of the day, if you don't agree with everything, then that's fine. Just show an interest and work hard, because they're really making an investment in you. The other thing I think as well, particularly in the IEA, is I found it was a lot easier to listen throughout these experiences when you're talking to people. And for me, that really helped me understand my own position. And I think there's a lot of benefit in going into conversations and leaving the other person with a bit of mystery about where you stand. So be willing to listen and just ask a lot of questions. Give them confidence in their argument, find out where they stand, and just pick their little flaws out. But don't be aggressive and don't be too passionate, but constantly go through, and I think it's always more valuable to do more listening than it is to talking. But as Andrew said before as well, what did you say before, Andrew? I can't even remember now. I might come back to that. But yeah, so they're a couple of big things. And you always get more value talking to people that you disagree with. Okay, like we could sit here, we could run Mannkal functions week after week, month after month, all stand here and nod and agree with each other. but source out the people that have different points of view and different arguments, because as Andrew did say before, that makes you learn more about your own argument and the flaws. So finally, I think the last thing that I wanted to talk about as well was contributions and obligations. So I'm going to talk pre-trip. Obviously you're here, which is fantastic, during the trip, and then after the trip as well. So, you know, it's not rocket science, and I trust one of the key sessions or key themes from this morning was that it's not just a holiday, and it isn't. This is like a significant sum of money that Mannkal is investing in you, and you are honestly really lucky and fortunate as students to get that. Put it to good use. Make the most out of it. Read. Take a couple of books. I mean, Ron hands them out like they're going out of fashion. Read them on the plane on the way over. Read a lot. Stay behind during the days when you're at these think tanks and chat to people. But as long as you put in the effort and the energy, and I don't need to stand here and tell you how to do that, but just commit to doing it, and I think that's all that Mannkal will want from you during the experience. After it as well, in terms of contributions and obligations, it's the same thing again. You guys are here because you're going to contribute and because you're going to give back. And I think a critical part of the interview process when Mannkal interview people is they don't want people just to come in here and write Mannkal intern in Ottawa in Canada and run off with that on their CV and leave it all behind. They've made an investment in you, and it's an ongoing relationship. So turn up to Mannkal events in the future. Make every effort you can. Go out and talk at lectures at uni and promote it, and come to their functions and be willing to help people and just stay engaged and stay involved and keep reading. And I think that's all they want from you in terms of a contribution side. But also as well, I think there's also an unwritten sort of code that you're going to stay reading and stay informed and stay interested, and put the ideas and the things you learn from your internship into place when you go out and work, or you go out and you're voting in an election, and you constantly got to think and consider these issues. So I'm sorry that was very quick, but I understand we're on a pre-tight schedule. I'm going to be hanging around for lunch, so if any of you have got any questions, then I'd love to have a chat to you. But good luck, and really put a lot of energy and effort into it, and I'm sure you'll get a hell of a lot out of it. Thanks.
Can we please thank Tim? And thanks, Tim. And that is really something I can't get across enough. I made one call or one email to Tim and Alex, and I said, look, I'm putting this together. They said, yep, what do you need me to do? Can I come and do it? We really appreciate that coming back. And there's also the mentoring role, because often you'll be tapped to mentor the next lot, and then one of you will be up here doing Tim's role in 12 months' time. It's a process of contributing back, and I guarantee in that process, the more that you do that, the more doors will fling open for you. That is, I cannot stress that enough. That's a critical aspect, because it's an ongoing investment, and will keep tapping into your wisdom and see your development. Some of you will change your minds, some of you will go in different directions, that's fine.